Welcome back, everyone, and we're back. It's another week and another episode of Interventions and Detentions, where the real learning begins. And I am your host, Brad. You guys know that by now, but I'm super excited about this week's episode and probably a little bit nervous, too, because if you tuned in last week, we were sitting at this table with my wife, Sherry, talking about what it's like to be married to an educator, and she was super open and honest about it, and it was a little emotional through the episode for both of us, I think, but maybe even a little therapeutic. This week we jump into the next level of the Taggarts. We have my two daughters here, Madi and Meredith, and they're going to share their thoughts and feelings on what it's like to be a PK. And by PK, I mean principal's kid. They have joined me as a principal's kid, not in my school as a student where I was principal, and when I have been a principal. So we're going to talk all about that through some questions today and some hopefully open, honest answers. And like I said, I might need to have the tissue box handy. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be kind of fun as we pull the curtain back on what it's like growing up as a principal's kid. So before we get started and jump into the questions, let's just let each of them give a little quick introduction of who they are and what they are doing today. We'll start with child number one. Madison, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I am 21. I just graduated from Purdue University with a degree in kinesiology and am currently pursuing my master's degree in athletic training at Manchester University, Fort Wayne. So living back at home with my family, my younger sister. What else do you want to know?
Where do you work?
Currently, I do a lot of different things, kind of like my dad. I work at Turnstone in Fort Wayne. I also sub at Central Noble now since I do my clinicals there right now in the junior senior high. And I do some dog sitting and babysitting on the side as well.
She actually got to sub in my building last Friday for a half day in art.
I did.
Lots of fun. It was kind of cool having her in my building and seeing her do her thing with the children. And it kind of makes me think about how I started out. But she's not going down that road. She is going to be an athletic trainer someday soon. So Meredith is next. Meredith, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Meredith. I am 18 years old and I graduated from Central Noble in May. And I am now at the University of St. Francis. I am going for my BSN in nursing. And yeah, I work at Five Lakes and Planet Fitness in Fort Wayne.
And she has a boyfriend that keeps her pretty busy. She's on the go quite a bit. Both of the girls are on the go a lot. It's really hard for us to find time when we're at the house at the same time. This is one of the few times. Sherry's actually in the background listening quietly. She insisted on being here. So, hi, Sherry. Okay. And there'll probably be some giggles along the way because that's how we are. All right, girls, we always jump in the time machine here on the podcast. We're going to go back in time and think about, when you were not at Dad's schools as a student, but there was lots of times where you were involved with Dad at school, whether it was Grandma dropping you off so I could bring you back home at the end of the day, or going to PTO events and functions or concerts or things, just anything. What did you think actually Dad did as a principal when you were younger, when you weren't in my school? I mean, you had your own principal at St. Mary's, but what did you think Dad did? Who wants to go first?
Go first.
All right.
I just kind of thought that you, disciplined kids every single day. I didn't think you did anything fun other than, just kind of, being the disciplinarian.
Okay, Mayor, same thing, or?
Yeah, pretty much just yell at kids all day.
Just yell at kids all day. I don't feel like I yell that often at kids. There are times when I have to use my principal voice at school. I also use the slam the door technique a lot of times just to get kids' attention when they've been down too many times and we're done talking. That's funny that you thought that that's all I did. Maybe jump ahead. Now, knowing a little bit more about Dad as a principal, what do you think I do today?
I mean, I've seen so many videos, I feel like, of things that you do with your kids that I personally never really got to experience with having you as a principal. But overall, I feel like you bring a good balance of fun as well as being someone with authority. And I just feel like you bring such light to the school that you're in, and I feel like it's visible by the way that other people talk about you as well.
Yeah, Mary, what about you?
I agree.
Both of you have been lucky enough, and maybe I guess I should say I've been lucky enough to have you interacting with me now as what I would say grown-ups and towards the end of your school career, whether it's coming to help at field days or other events. And, it's fun for me to watch you guys interact with my kids, but hopefully you see that I do more than just yell at kids all day long too. So let's keep talking about those younger years. And when you were involved in going to things with me at my school that you weren't attending, what are some of your favorite or even funniest memories of visiting Dad at school before you were students of mine? Anything jump out in your head?
We got dragged to the Spencer Gain concert.
Yeah, Spencer Kane came to give a concert at my school, and you got drug along for that.
We got a free t-shirt and a picture with him as well.
You kind of had like backstage access. I mean, Spencer wasn't real big at that time. Spencer, if you're listening, shout out to Spencer Kane. Check him out on Apple Music.
Anthem Lights, shout out.
Yep, he's part of Anthem Lights too. That's kind of a cool memory. I thought you would say a different one. There's one in my head when you came to hang out at Wilkett Mills with me once that involved a 4-wheel cart and a ramp in the school.
I did try that.
Well, let's hear about it, Meredith. What did you do?
Well, I kind of got told by the older kids to try it out, so I just thought it would be fun, but the door was shut.
Well, you're leaving out a lot of details. What did you do?
I took a four-wheeled cart.
Four-wheeled flatbed cart.
Carry stuff on, and I just decided to hold on to the rail and push myself down like a scooter and went right into that wood door.
Yeah, kind of crashed and burned and got up and said, "I'm okay." And oops is right. Maddie, what about you?
I feel like some of the things that I remember when we were part of when we went to St. Mary's and we were part of East Noble's school corporation, we sometimes got out of school earlier than you did, and end of the year wise. So maybe you had like a couple more days or a week or something. And so I remember there were times that we came to like one of your last couple days of school, and Meredith and I just kind of went to a classroom. Shout out Lori Yeager for taking us under her wing and letting us kind of just hang out for the most part and
be a principal's kid.
Yeah. Just so I remember going out for a fire drill. We did everything that everybody else was doing. There wasn't really anything different. So
did you ever feel different having a dad that was also a principal? Even, not in your building, but what was it like just having dad as a principal?
You're known as the principal's daughter.
Even
24/7.
Even when I wasn't when I wasn't your principal.
Yeah.
I remember on those days that we would come stay for the day, the amount of people that would kind of just flock around. At least I feel like it happened to both of us, but around Meredith and I, that wanted to sit by us, wanted to have lunch with us, wanted to talk to us, things like that. And to me, it felt so cool at the time because I was like, oh my gosh, all these people think I'm so cool and think I'm popular or whatever. Any 8-year-old would. Kid. Yeah, any 8-10-year-old kid would. But looking back, it's kind of I was just any other kid at that point. I just didn't go to school there.
What did your friends think? Did they think it was cool or weird that your dad was a principal? Did you ever get any feedback from your friends at St. Mary's?
Not at St. Mary's.
Not at St. Mary's. I didn't really.
We'll talk about the other in a minute.
Okay.
This is before you came to Dad's school. And, the friends that you had at St. Mary's.
Not really. I don't think so, because none of them really knew you like that.
All right. So to kind of review back, so my girls went to St. Mary's, a Catholic school here nearby us. It was a decision that Sherry and I made. We thought it was best for our girls. We wanted them to have that faith-based education. St. Mary's had really small class sizes, so one class per grade, 12 to 15 kids maybe in a class.
Meredith had one of the biggest I saw. Meredith had 20 in her class.
Yeah, Meredith had a bigger class, but still 20 is not a big number. It was at that time for St. Mary's, but it was just a choice that we made not to send our kids to public school. As I said last week with Sherry, we've never lived in the district that I've worked in. I mean, at least with kids, when Sherry and I got married, we lived in the district that I taught in. But as a principal, I've always been away at another district. And so my kids wouldn't go there unless I took them. So when I was at Woken Mills as an elementary principal, I had an opportunity to go to our middle school in LaGrange, Lakeland Middle School. And it was at that time, it was 2016. And my superintendent came to me, offered me this position, kind of said, I need you to lead this building. And I decided to do it. But we also, as a family, decided, hey, is this the time that maybe we bring the girls to Lakeland with me to public school? You know, we want to be on the same calendar, the same schedule, transportation, just all the things. And we had a lot of back and forth family dialogues, pros, cons, all that stuff aside. The ultimate decision was, yep, we're going to send them. So Meredith actually went to Woken Mills, where I had been principal and now was moving up to the middle school. She was in 4th grade, and Maddie was going to start as 7th grade at middle school. So she had her first experience with me before Meredith did, but Meredith was in the same system. So let's talk about your guys' first impressions. You know, now you're with Dad. Dad's the principal. Meredith, you weren't quite there yet, but still, Dad's a principal in the system. How did you feel, Maddie, knowing you'd be attending the same school where I was going to be principal? What were your thoughts, reactions?
Initially was really excited about it, aside from the fact that, you know, we had to be up super early to actually get to school living 30 minutes away. But, I mean, for the most part, was excited to, just be in the same building, have someone nearby that I could go to in an instant. We had other family near the school at the time as well, so that was also kind of nice to know that somebody could get to me. If I felt sick, I could go home. If I needed anything, I just had to walk down the hallway, so that was really nice, honestly. But yeah, at first glance, I feel like it looks very advantageous, but
yeah. And for Meredith, you know, we dropped her off at Woken Mills all by herself, and she would go. Who did you go to for it? Was it Mrs. Gully?
No, Larissa Penick.
Oh yeah. Oh no, she came and picked you up. That's
Yeah.
right. Shout out to Larissa. I forgot about that. So we didn't drop you off at Woken Mills. We took you up to the middle school, and then Larissa, who was an IA at Woken Mills, would pick Meredith up, take her back down to Woken Mills, and then bring her back up to us at the end of the day. I forgot about that. Yeah. So putting her in a car with somebody that was a stranger to her, how did that make you feel? What was that like?
I was nervous at first. She has 2 great daughters, so that was fun. The youngest was really little. She still went to daycare and everything. But Shelby was older than me, so that was fun. I had at least somebody to hang out for 30 minutes with until school started.
Yeah, and I think you guys, I feel like you adapted well. I don't know, your mom may not agree, and I've got my back to her right now, so I can't see her facial expressions or thing. But I mean, I feel like the transition went as good as it could. Maybe not perfect, but I feel like, you know, in my opinion, things seem to be okay. But let's talk about pressure now. Did you feel extra pressure having me as your principal? You know, again, Meredith was kind of 2 years behind, but she did have that experience for at least 1 year as a 6th grader before we transitioned our 7th and 8th grade over to the high school. Both of the girls had me for 1 or 2 years. What kind of pressure did it put on you, or did you put on yourselves having me as your principal?
I feel like for me, just because it was 7th and 8th grade, I feel like there was a lot of pressure, from my peers to kind of be the example almost. And maybe that's just pressure that I put on myself as well. But kind of just being a role model, setting an example. And I don't know if I really needed to do that all the time. At the end of the day, I was 13, 14, so should be able to make mistakes. But I felt like I had to have it all together because that's just who I was. And it also then reflects on my dad, and that was something that was said a lot, still is said a lot in this house, is where we are under a microscope and scrutinized, whether it's for something that my dad does or something that my mom does. We kind of always are picked apart a little bit. And so that was something I think that I always kind of had to swallow, was that somebody's watching you.
I think we talked about that last week on this episode. Somebody's always watching to find what is what you're doing, and Meredith's motioning about an instance that I'm sure she'll talk about at some point. Meredith, what about you? Was there pressure on you being dad, principal's kid?
I don't think I felt really much pressure from anybody or anything. I think I just continued to be who I was, and I don't think I cared as much as. I know Maddie took it more serious than I did, but I was also a sixth grader at the time.
And that's also, you guys are two totally different people. For those of you that do know the girls, they're totally opposite. They have their own personalities, and I think I could see where Maddie was probably more tuned in and concerned about that, where Meredith was probably like, whatever, I don't care. I'm going to be me. But let's, the teachers or students, did you get treated differently once you were in my building? Do you feel like you got maybe special treatment from the teachers, or did other students maybe dog you a little bit because, your dad's the principal? Let's hear that.
Definitely dogged by the students more than teachers.
Was it students that you were close with, or students that you didn't really talk to?
Depends on the day.
For me, it was friends, but we weren't close by any means. Like, we would talk, but it wasn't a serious friendship.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and so let's talk about what does it mean to get dogged? Like, what kind of things were happening to you or being said to you that maybe you didn't like, or that you just felt like, that's not really fair just because my dad's the principal?
Like, you get a good grade on something, and they're like, you only got that grade because you're the principal's daughter. It's like, well.
Yeah. Any opportunity that you get could be chalked up to being somebody's kid.
Okay, I get that. That makes sense to me. I hope that didn't happen a lot. I'm sure it happened more than I know, because those are things that you probably wouldn't have shared with me until now. Were there any perks, though? Was it I can think of a few things that you guys took advantage of, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but what were some of the perks of having Dad there as principal every day?
Always having snacks in the office. If you're hungry and just...
Dad always has snacks. Does Dad still have snacks?
Dad still has snacks. I was in his office the other day eating my pre-football game dinner, and he said, "Do you want some Chips Ahoy?" And just pulled a whole package of cookies out of his closet cabinet thing.
Yeah.
So, but mine is also food related. The amount of times that I didn't read the lunch menu, the week before, the day before even, and he read it on the morning announcements, and it wasn't something I liked, and neither option was what I liked.
Was it going to be bussin' respectfully?
I never use those words.
I know.
I would just text him, or I'd go down to the office and be like, "Hey, I don't like what's for lunch. Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a solid?" And he'd go get mac and cheese cups, or he'd go to Subway. He was willing to go that extra mile.
Because I can't say no.
Yeah, because he could have totally just let me sit in the choices that I made, but he chose to.
I took care of both of you, I think, for the most part.
There was, one time in 4th grade, it was Lent, and it was either fish sticks or chicken tenders for lunch, and I'm not a big fish stick fan. So I had nothing to eat until Miss Yeager came by and said, "Your dad dropped this off," and it was a Lunchable that was the nachos, so...
Wow, I didn't remember that, but again, taking care of my girls when...
Saving the day.
The day, and I didn't do it probably nearly enough, but let's talk about awkward or tough moments, and I know maybe, Meredith, the thing that you were just thinking about that maybe you'll share, that was probably an awkward moment for you. You want to go first? Yeah. Any tough or awkward moments? Probably more so for you than for this one over here, Maddie, but let's see. Hear it. Let's go.
It was 7th grade before a basketball game. I was at Dad's school.
Yep, your game was being held in my gym.
And, which was weird because it was always held at the high school. I was curious to see what was above the ceiling tile. So I stuck my head up there. I climbed on top of the lockers and I stuck my head through the ceiling tile, pushed it up. And I am looking, I'm just telling everybody, "Oh, guys, there's just a bunch of wires, whatever, tubes, plumbing,
pipes, things."
And I go to bring my head down and I'm holding it, and all of a sudden I just can see it start to fall, and I screamed, "Somebody grab it!" And no one touched it, and it shattered into 3 pieces.
It's like styrofoam. I mean, it's stronger than styrofoam, but it's a foam tile and it shattered on the floor. And like the next day,
Someone got it on video.
well, it wasn't on. Well,
Pictures. There was pictures.
oh, there was pictures.
Yeah, there was some kind of like evidence,
Evidence
not
that
of,
it was me.
Yeah, somehow it got to me. Like,
And I don't know how because I told them not to tell them.
right. And so, do you want to tell the rest of the story, or okay, keep going.
So the next day, well, we first put all the pieces back up, whatever, make it look as best as we can, and go play our game. The next day we have practice, and it's at my school,
At the high school.
And I'm just shooting around. We're playing. I think we're probably scrimmaging. And the door opens, and it's my dad. And he said, "I need to speak with Meredith, please." And pulled me out into the hallway. And he said, "So what happened yesterday in the locker room?" And I just told him nothing because I didn't want to own up to him that I did that. And he said, "You don't have to lie to me. I know what happened." So I told him the whole story, and I said I was sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it got to you. But
I don't know. I don't remember either. Somebody
there was picture proof. I think
somebody told somebody that said, "Hey, you might want to go talk to Meredith about what happened in the locker room yesterday." So I remember being pretty mad and going over and stopping practice and calling you out and probably ripping you a little bit in the hallway. And I don't know what happened after that, but you know, if that was the worst thing that you did in junior high, then so be it, I guess. But Maddie, awkward or tough moments for you? Things being less than perfect, or
You don't know what one I'm going to talk about?
well, is it the one that Mom talked about, or
I don't know.
Let's hear it.
Okay. First day of school, 7th grade. I'm sitting in math class.
Yes, I mentioned this one last week, but keep going.
Okay. There's more, but like there's like this one and then another one. I am sitting with my friends working on homework or something. I mean, it's the first day, so nothing crazy. My dad came in to take pictures, I think for probably just like a Facebook post of like, "Oh, had a great first day," whatever. And he's walking through and I'm like, "Hey, Dad." And he just like ignores me. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe he didn't hear me."
Did I give you a look at all, or did I just ignore you?
I think you just ignored me. And so I was like, "He didn't hear me." Whatever.
So we're going to say it louder next time.
"Hey, Dad." And like, he just kind of looks at me and is like, "It's Mr. Taggart." And I just felt like so like defeated. I feel like I just kind of sank down, and I feel like any other time I did see him, I didn't call him Mr. Taggart or Mr. T. I'm pretty sure I just kept calling him Dad because I was like, I don't know. It just didn't feel right, first of all. And I get that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a weird dynamic, but also, like, I feel like we have the relationship to kind of be past that a little bit. And so, but there's also, like, the awkward or tough moments when somebody ratted me out before I had the opportunity. I was going to come to Dad and tell him what happened. I hit a car in the parking lot my senior year, had worked it out with the kid that I hit. I was running late. It was before a softball game. Had to go get my sister and I our food before our game, since it was home. I came back. I'm already crying anyway because I am so upset. I didn't tell my dad, and I made it a point to not tell my dad right away because anytime that we called during dismissal, it was always crazy. He was always kind of stressed out. And so I was like, I don't want to bother him with this right now. I'm going to see him when I go over to the middle school anyway. I'll just tell him then. And instead of like me having the opportunity to come to him, somebody went and told on me, and he greeted me at my car when I got to the middle school and said, "So what happened to your car?" And I told him everything, and I told him that I was going to come to him, and he said, "You could have called me right away." And I said, "You were doing dismissal. I didn't want to bother you." But it was fine. But yeah, just some tough moments of going back to the microscope thing. Like, you really don't know who's watching and stuff. And
there's eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this kind of leads into unique challenges. Did you feel that you had to live up to higher expectations? I mean, we kind of hit on this a little bit, but did you feel like there was different expectations or higher expectations for the two of you compared to the other kids in your grade, being, the daughters of the principal?
I think you just try your best no matter what. That's
Yeah.
basically what we were always told.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't ever been put in a situation where I knew, like, where I ranked among my peers. So, for me, that was, like, a new thing to kind of figure out where I fell and with everybody else. And then, okay, how do I stay there? And so, like, that was something for me. But I felt like part of that was fed by being your kid.
Yeah. And it was tough for you, I think, or tougher probably because Meredith went to an elementary school at first where there was still small class sizes, but you went from, how many were in your class at St. Mary's?
I think when I left, there was probably 13 of us.
So 13 kids up to a middle school class now where 3 elementaries converged to 1 7th grade, and now you're in about 100?
I think the amount of people I saw in a day was closer to 50. Because I think because of how we were separated.
Yeah.
But in my co-teaching, in my, like, section of co-teaching, when all of us were together, 50. Mm-hmm. When we were separate, it was probably about 25. Mm. But then there were 2 sets of that. So there were another 50 kids that I did not interact with on a daily basis.
As I say, as a whole grade level, you had about 100 kids in your class as a grade. So, yeah, a big difference in St. Mary's. But were there times through that process that you said, I wish that I wasn't the principal's kid? Miss Meredith?
Actually, this last year, my senior year of high school, I was running a little bit late to my AP test, and I don't drive there in the morning, and I could have sworn I was not going this fast. But I park, and I'm walking into the building, and I get a text from my dad that says, you need to slow down in the parking lot. I just got a text saying that you were going too fast. Yep. And I said, okay.
Everybody's watching.
Awkward.
Right. But to your defense, any other kid that did that, whoever texted dad at that point, wouldn't have got a text probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that. How about you, Maddie? Time that you just, other than that first day, which I will apologize publicly to you because as awkward as it was maybe for you being in dad's school, it was awkward for me not knowing how to handle that. I don't even think we talked about that ahead of time. We probably should have said, so what do we call you? Or what do I call you? Or, and luckily over time, I think you wore me down by just saying dad, dad, dad. I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? They're my kids. They need to call me dad. Yeah. Not Mr. or Mr. T or Mr. Taggart. So anyway, that out of the way. I apologize for that. But was there a time when you were just like, should have stayed at St. Mary's or went to East Noble because this is not working out?
I love that the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, but the fact that my dad came on and did announcements with Harry Carey voice, I was...
Holy cow!
I was so embarrassed, and I could just kind of, like, tell... I mean, I put my head down. I really just kind of, like... I was so embarrassed. I'm sure my classmates probably thought it was a mixture of being funny and really weird, but... I think that was one of the bigger times where I was like, why, like, this dude is not my dad. I don't know who this dude is. Like, I don't claim any lineage to him. Just, like, things like that.
I'm sure there was lots of times where I embarrassed you, not intentionally, but just doing the silly things that I did. I get that, because you guys don't always think dad's very cool, but anyway.
You're cool.
But not when you're there.
It was 8 a.m.
That's true. So, kind of looking back on the course of being, the principal's kid, was there any lessons learned, at school or about being a leader or responsibility that made, some good takeaways, that maybe some positives even of being the principal's kid? Meredith? You want to think about it?
Yeah.
All right, Maddie?
Just the perks you said, or drawbacks, or just perks?
I'm just thinking about lessons that you learned, maybe from dad, being the principal's kid, about being, a leader or, taking on responsibilities and things.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like responsibility, as much as I feel like I didn't get exposed to it as much with, like, the lunch stuff, but there were other parts I felt like that I did have to kind of make sure that I was doing on my own so that, like, something else would happen. So, like, packing my volleyball stuff the night before and things like that. Like, the amount of times I feel like it never happened when we were at St. Mary's, but I feel like the amount of times that I was texting somebody to bring me a pair of tennis shoes or a pair of socks, a pair of spandex, like, I don't know what the difference was. I don't know if it was because it was less stake, like lower stakes at St. Mary's or what, but I just felt like I always was forgetting something. So that I feel like that was a big thing of responsibility. And I mean, I think leadership has always kind of been something that I tend to be a little bit more forthcoming with. And so, I mean, I feel like you pushed me to do student council and all the things there. And I mean, and you did with Mara too. Like, it's not just me. And so, and I feel like you also kind of set that bar with you being class president, as well when you were in high school and stuff like that. So it just kind of made me want to go after that.
Meredith?
I was going to say Bulldog leaders. I had no idea what I was doing in 4th grade being a Bulldog leader, but Dad told me I should do it. So I did, and I loved it. I did it in 5th grade too. It's basically just being an ambassador and teaching the other classrooms virtues,
Life skills,
how to play on the playground on the first day of school, especially for the younger classes who just came in. Sources of strength.
I was gonna say you did sources of strength.
When I did get to Central Noble, because Lakeland did not offer that. Actually, I wasn't at Lakeland.
Yeah,
we did have it there too.
We did.
But just continuing that at Central Noble.
Well, I think you guys both have really good leadership skills, different in each one of you. It looks a little bit different. I think it's more prominent in you, Maddie, as far as like people see it more. Meredith, I feel like yours is there. You just don't show it all the time, but it's there, if that makes sense. I know it doesn't quite. Like, I see it in athletics with you. Yours is more academics, Maddie, but you both have different leadership skills and abilities, and I don't take credit for any of that. I think that's just things that you have developed, and maybe by being a principal's kid, I feel like teachers have probably put some of that responsibility on you sometimes, because they know who you were and maybe look at me as being a leader and think that you have good leadership skills too. But I think however that came to be, you both developed some really good skills, leadership, responsibility through the process. So, if you could give advice to other principal kids, maybe the young ones that are growing up in our community, what would it be? What kind of advice would you give the future principal kids?
You got something right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't let people's voices tear you down just from being the principal's kid. Like, you're going to hear, well, you're the principal's kid, so you got away with this, or you're the principal's kid, so you got this. All fairness, I think every kid should be treated the same at a school, so I just think not letting it affect you and just keep going. Just say okay and let it go. Don't need to really say much, but
I think one of the biggest things that I really came into after graduating, because I left that community and went and found my own, was the fact that I am my own person. My identity is not formed by who my parents are. That's a part of it. Don't get me wrong, but when you have enough people coming up to you and recognizing you not by who you are, but by who you're related to, that kind of shapes who you are, I feel like, and how you see yourself. And so I remember coming back and visiting my high school and telling someone, they were like, do you think you're going to come back and work in LaGrange County eventually, like as a physician? I wanted to be a doctor for a while, or as an athletic trainer. And I just came out and said, I was like, I don't think so, because I feel like I'm Brad Taggart's daughter whenever I'm here, and that's not a bad thing.
No matter where we go,
yeah.
You're Brad Taggart's daughter.
Half the time, you're Brad Taggart. You're Sherry's daughter. Like,
I know who you are. Yeah.
Exactly, and yes, that's true. But I'm also Maddie. Yeah. That's also Meredith. Like, just you don't have to be your parents. You are your own person.
Just know, as maybe hard as that is to hear sometimes, because you do hear it a lot, your mom and I take a lot of pride in that, because that lets us know that we've done some things right, and people see you in the community, they see you in a positive light, and that makes us feel good, and know, like I said, that we did a good job. Before I get into some closing thoughts, and of course my favorite part of the episode, which is rapid fire question time, I want to share my favorite moment of having you guys with me, and it would be the all-time favorite moment of being able to be blessed to hand you each your diploma as you walked across graduation stage. I did it for Maddie at Lakeland, and I did it for Meredith at Central Noble. It was a unique experience that not every parent gets to have. And the only way that I could do that is by being an administrator in the corporations that they graduated from. So I will love that forever and get teary-eyed thinking about it. So let's move on to the fun stuff. Rapid fire question time. So fun. And I don't care who wants to go first. See, this is where we get to laughing now. This is the fun part as we wind it down.
We tried to stifle it back so hard.
I know you have, and you guys have done great. We're going on 35 minutes, so we're doing great. I'm going to throw out questions. I don't care who answers first. They have not seen these questions yet. You guys, they're both like pointing, I want to go first. I want to go first. You guys can answer the same question just one at a time. That's the only thing I ask. I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit. What I think this is, I don't want to know if I want to answer this one first or we'll come back to it. I think we'll end on this question. But anyway, let's start with this one. Who was stricter, dad at home or dad at school?
I never really talked to dad at school much.
True. Meredith would usually avoid me.
Avoided. So definitely home, for sure. I would say home.
Okay.
I honestly feel like it was the opposite. 8th grade year, we had some dress code changes, and so I took the brunt of that, I feel like.
Yes, you did. Teacher that you thought was the funniest when you came to my school.
Mr. Furness. He was great.
Oh, wait, your
Shout out to Paul Furness.
Oh my gosh, teacher that I thought was the funniest. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Doug Menz.
Oh, he's
honestly,
a good one too.
yeah.
Great
I felt like he was very similar to you in that respect, and
We're a lot alike.
taught me how to drive. So besides my family, obviously teaching me how to drive.
So flip that. Who was the teacher that scared you the most?
You can go first.
I mean, I'm trying to think back through it a little bit. Teacher that scared me the most? Am I supposed to name names?
You can.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
Okay.
We're just being honest here.
Okay. This is a safe space. I would honestly say either Mrs. Hockley or Mrs. Milliman. They both, I feel like, were kind of, they were great. And then other times I feel like sometimes there was, if they were having a bad day, you knew it. And so.
That's okay.
I would say Hockley or Gamble.
Yeah.
Mrs. Gamble.
Okay. She scared you a little bit? I think they're both very passionate teachers.
Basically, it's just how they were teaching. It's just the tone of the voice.
They didn't play a lot.
Yeah, it was straight to the point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, yeah.
But both great teachers.
Okay. I can go with that. I just had one. Best snack that you ever snuck from Dad's office?
Does it have to be from your office?
No, I guess not.
The amount of soft pretzels we ate from the concession stand.
Oh, yeah. Or nachos.
That was definitely a perk. Dad could go down and open up the concession stand and like, hey, you want a pretzel? Or...
Half the time you just gave us your keys.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of nice to go sneak in the concession stand, grab some food. All right. If Dad wasn't a principal, what job could you picture me doing?
You want to go first or you want me to? I have one.
You got it.
I feel like I could see you in like sales or like marketing. Like I feel like you have that in your face personality that like you could sell me anything.
I was gonna say I feel like a sales like for cars.
Oh gosh, I knew you were gonna say that. I always said I couldn't. I don't think I could sell cars because I think like to pressure people. Like I think I could sell.
Yeah.
But the rejection
you don't like
part.
Asking for.
Yeah, the pressure of like, or just like I said, being rejected, like, no, I'm not going to buy that car. I'd probably, okay, I'll try the next.
I'll go find someone else.
Thanks for stopping. I think I'd give up way too easy. And that's probably why I left my business degree at IPFW laying there on the table because I was not going to be a good businessman. I don't know that I'd be a great businessman. Salesman, I don't know. Maybe.
You don't have to run the business. You just have to make the sales.
That's true. True. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see, because we talked about a lot of these already. All right. We'll end on this question. This is the one that I wanted to start with, but I'm going to end on it. What's one thing people don't know about Dad as a principal? And it can be either my principal life, my home life. What's one thing that you don't think people know about B-Rad?
The man is a comedian. I will say that. Like, I mean,
Tries.
he does try.
I think I'm funny.
He does so many voices, and half the time they're just like,
random.
well, that and they're just kind of variations of his groove voice, like half the
True.
time.
people at work will agree with you because like that was Gru and it was supposed to be something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's your favorite voice that Dad does?
Ronnie. Ronnie's pretty good.
Ronnie doesn't care.
Whenever you would sing like the Robert Goulet.
Robert Goulet.
Yeah. But
else?
the one that you did with Uncle Chris. Who's that?
Pump You Up.
No, not that. Not but that video.
That was a good video.
Were you Ronnie?
Oh, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I was a president. So my best friend Chris Blaze, shout out to Chris. We got to get him on the pod here soon.
Yes.
We did this spoof in high school of these little random skits on a snow day, and he was George Bush, and I was Ronald Reagan. And well, George, do you think it's safe to go outside today on the rain? And there was that. So I do Gru. I've dressed up as Gru a couple times for school. And
Good pity bad date.
What else? Any other voices that just stick out that you love? Ronnie knows. I don't even know who Ronnie is. It's not Ronald Reagan. That's a whole different Ron.
No, that's true. I mean, I can't think of any.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
I try to make myself laugh sometimes just because.
But no, I think, and that's how I said you are kind of a light, like, and
You make
bubbly
the best
person.
of every day, you know.
Yeah.
So
I
if
feel
you
like
had,
you can bring someone out of a funk really quickly.
if you had to do it all over again, would you still be a principal's kid with Dad? And you can say, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Be honest. Would you do it again?
I struggled with it, so I mean, yeah. I
You only had 1 year.
I only had 1 year, and I avoided, so
I think
took precautions.
I don't know if I would go back and do middle school because of like how formative that is, if that makes sense. Because everybody's going through
That's a
stuff.
tough time for girls, especially.
Yeah, everybody's going through stuff. No one likes who they are. So, and then you add like other pressures on top of that. I feel like
elementary would be fun.
I think elementary would be interesting. I think it'd be harder to set boundaries, like when it comes to that stuff. So I feel like high school. If I had you during high school, I would do it again.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you had me as high school or elementary, it would have been a lot better than middle school because middle school is just tough as a kid, period. And then you throw your dad as a principal in the mix, and whew, that was probably tough. Apologize for that, ladies. Glad you came out as good as you did. So, hey, ladies, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, first for being guest on my podcast, but being my favorite daughters. I love you guys so much.
We're your only daughters.
That's true. That's true.
Just kidding. Sorry.
I can't do what I do without you two, your mom sitting behind us. You guys are my rocks, my pillars, and you make me the person that I am every day. And you are what make me want to bring my A game and do my best at school and, just be the leader that I want to be for my peeps. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys.
You're so welcome.
All right.
Don't cry.
I'm not going to cry.
Thanks for being a great dad and
they're
a great
allergies.
handful.
You're welcome.
Overall, not just when we were with you.
Okay.
But
I love you guys. It's been a fun journey, and it's great for me now to see you guys going on and doing your own thing and spreading your wings, and you're on the cusp of being out on your own. And yeah, it's your mom and I are super proud of you guys. We love you. You're doing great things, and you're going to continue to do great things. So with that, we are going to wrap this bad boy up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Another good, fun episode of Interventions and Detentions. Tune in next week. We'll come back with another episode. I don't know who's going to be next week. It might be me by itself. It might be a couple new guests. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to tune in and find out. Keep checking back. If you haven't listened to season 1, go check it out. But until then, stay tuned for another episode. We'll be back next week. And remember, this is where the real learning begins.